Fascinating. I want you to raise your hand if you've never faced failure before. I think all of us in this room have faced failure at least once in our lifetime. Failure, often a word which is tied with a negative connotation, a word which we grew up learning to avoid because nothing positive can ever come out of it. Failure would be the angry monster which stands at the doorway when you fail that test, don't get accepted into the program you applied for, or even fall on your face during elementary school dodgeball. For me, failure and I have often held hands quite tightly, while also knowing when to let go. This is a phenomenon that can either make you or break you. Moving from a foreign country at the age of 9, the United States was quite a change. Coming to this country, my younger self imagined it to be a place which was fun, easy, and filled with Chick-fil-A waffle fries. Although it was quite fun and a lot of fries were consumed, life was not always easy. With an Indian accent and hair on my arm, I faced my share of bullying. The reason for me being different made it difficult for me to fit in. Things I couldn't change or control were taken into account while viewing me as a person. I felt secluded and alone. And here, I felt a sense of failure. Moving on to middle school. It was a cold afternoon and I came home crying. As a cool breeze hit my face, I wiped away at my tears. I had just gotten cut from the 7th grade basketball team, an event which I thought ruined my career forever. Not as a future WNBA athlete, but just in the realm of playing on the school team. After all, this was a big deal for a middle schooler, a matter of prestige and means to show off. All of my friends who tried out for the team made it. All except for me. That night I couldn't sleep. Not because of the loss, but because I thought to myself, how would I face my fellow classmates the next morning? The embarrassment that I felt in that moment brought back that same pungent, ever so familiar smell to me. Failure. Engineering class was my most favorite ever. As one of the only 2 girls in that class, I already felt a sense of superiority. The catapult project was much anticipated, and my excitement was unmatched when we started working on it. However, over time, I realized that my catapult wouldn't launch. I tried not once, not twice, but multiple times. However, no positive outcome. The 20 pairs of eyes staring at me, whom I thought always admired me, now they seem to be looking down at me. My favorite teacher ever, whom I thought would always be proud of me, now he seemed to have a glint of disappointment in his eyes. So here I was again, standing in the class which I loved ever so dearly, as a failure. Although these experiences were some of the worst I have ever felt, now, when I look back, these are some of the most fascinating ones. Failures that have changed me and helped me grow to become the individual I am today. My failure to fit in elementary school helped me channel my thoughts. I penned down my thoughts in forms of writing. This failure helped me realize the author in myself. I still cherish the day when I woke up in a half-asleep state, smudging at my eyes, grabbing at my phone just to see my book was featured on the Amazon best-selling list. I vividly remember running to my dad for reassurance just to make sure that he was also seeing the same thing that I was. Growing from the experience of being bullied and being able to become a figure that someone can relate to and feel heard about their own experiences makes all my efforts worth it. My failure in basketball made me realize my strengths. I was able to realize what I'm good at, and I made it on the varsity golf team for my high school. Being cut from that basketball team made me realize that I need to try to the best of my ability in everything that I do. Lastly, my failure in engineering class taught me research. I realized that thinking of the idea wasn't the difficult part. Instead, it was building it. So I resorted to the use of deconstructed clothespins, a rubber band, hot glue, and a spoon. After a lot of trial and error, I came up with the perfect design for my catapult. As I stood there holding my catapult with the sweat slicked on my goggles on my head and the dried glue hanging off my fingernails, I felt accomplished. When I presented my project to the class and my catapult launched the farthest distance, I felt more at place than ever before. Research from this experience has helped me reach where I am today, a student at one of the top schools in the nation, the North Carolina School of Science and Mathematics. Here, I conduct research almost every day. However, as soon as I'm met with a setback, I am approached by the most brilliant minds, both my teachers and my peers. All these experiences have helped me realize 3 things that failure can do for you. First, failure helps you reflect. Here, you look back and you see maybe this isn't something you should be upset about. Instead, channel your emotion to grow. Just like I did with getting bullied. Instead of being upset about this, I channel my emotion through writing and trying to help other people. Second, failure is an avenue for redirection. Here, you realize that maybe some things just weren't meant to be, like me in basketball, for example. However, don't let this stop you, as redirection isn't a halt. It instead urges you to pave a new path for yourself and walk on it. And lastly, failure helps you regrow. Here, you take what you didn't know before and utilize that to grow exponentially. Just like the failure from engineering class, the research has propelled me to where I am today. So I want you to leave here and remember failure with 3 R's always: reflect, redirect, and regrow. So instead of beating yourself about making a mistake and thinking that failure is an angry monster at the doorway, I want you to hold hands with it, like an old friend, and feel. Failure is fascinating, isn't it?